Hello, and welcome to another barrier-shattering episode of We Only Look Thin. I am one of your hosts. My name is Donald Weigel, and I have lost over 100 American pounds.
Not sterling.
No, not pounds sterling. I've lost much more than that. Yes.
Casino Royale. Hello.
Yeah.
Bienvenue. I am Catherine Weigel. I am Donald Weigel's wife. And
hello.
I am charming. And I, give or take, have lost 150 American pounds sterling. And today, we are going to crack the magic shell-like coating on milestones. You get a milestone, you put magic shell on it, which is a coating that is not really made of human food, but it is a shell that you break with a spoon, and we're going to get your spoons ready, people, because we are going to break shells and break barriers
and eat stones
and force fields. Stone, I think, is like 13 pounds. I don't remember.
Yeah, but I don't think that's where the term milestone comes from.
Is a stone sterling a thing? If you are listening in the UK, please let us know.
Please let us know.
Sterlings
stones
and stones
and sterlings and. I think milestones are like mile markers on freeways.
Exactly. I would like to start this story with a force field story. We are going to talk about
I like science fiction.
Milestones and force fields. So, tuck in. The year is 1981, and air supply is hitting the airwaves. And I hit the airwaves while on a drive cross country with my parents. We were moving from the East Coast to the West Coast, something I did several times. But this was the first time. Second time, actually. Anyway, long story. So we were driving, and back then, to keep oneself entertained in the car, if you remember the 1980s, this was the time before air conditioning in cars, and I used to just, as we were driving, I don't know if I was wearing a seatbelt, but I would stick my head out the window of the car.
Oh, yeah.
And you know
they let kids do that.
You know what I would do to entertain myself? I would stick my tongue out until it dried.
Yeah.
In the car window. That's how I drove.
And that is a calorie-free way to entertain yourself these days. This is our main tip for the episode.
Yeah, this is it. So, anyway... it was very boring driving across country as a kid. I don't remember if there were seatbelts, but I do remember going from New Mexico into Arizona, and I remember my parents telling me, Kathy, that's what they called me back then. They said, Kathy, we're about to go into Arizona. Get ready. And I was like, here we go, everybody. We are going into Arizona. I am confident that there is a force field.
Oh, yeah. There's like a force field, and like when you go through it,
wah, 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 wah,
yeah,
and it
you hear
zaps
that noise,
you
and
hear
confetti cannons go off.
Yeah, no, it's like that. I don't know. It's like Stargate or whatever. Like you definitely go through a barrier force field. Something magical happens.
This is what we were led to believe as children.
Right. So we had been through many states, but this was for some reason the only one I remember where they were like, "Get ready," and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna buckle up. I'm gonna wet my tongue." And not have a dry tongue as we go through through Arizona. So here we go. We're about to go through it, and they're like, "We're going," and we did it. And I was like, well, "I don't remember there being a force field." And they're like, "No, it's just we're in a new state now." And I was very upset that there was no actual force field or barrier or balloons or anything nothing to break through.
Was there a sign?
There was a sign. We didn't break through the sign.
Very disappointing.
Maybe if we broke through the sign, it would have been more interesting.
Yeah.
But
your parents failed you in that.
At the tender age of 7,
yeah, I
realized that barriers and state lines were social constructs.
Whoa, you're blowing my mind.
Construct. I didn't know the term social construct, but that is, I think, when I stopped trusting adults.
That was the moment?
That was the moment, because I wanted, a thing to happen. I wanted a big... I literally expected just some sort of force field, or at least electric fence or something that we had to traverse to get through the barrier. So this is the point of our podcast today. We're talking about...
What if in each state they had, like the Sphinx was there, and you have to like answer the Sphinx questions before you can enter the state, or else you're just trapped in the state you're in.
You have to give them a shrubbery or something.
Yeah, the Knights Who Say Knee or something.
Or it's like a game of Red Rover or something. Like they can either like let you through and you.
We need to set that up at every state.
A Red Rover situation.
Yeah.
So anyway,
more fun traveling cross country.
So I should have learned my lesson at age 7 about social constructs and barriers and milestones, because nothing happened, and we just went through and so now we're going to talk about the milestones in our lives and in our weight loss journeys. Are you on a journey? No, you're on an adventure.
I'm on an adventure.
That's
I think
very
it's
exciting.
Much more fun. I imagine myself as like the Indiana Jones of weight loss, and I'm dodging poison darts and boulders, and
I imagine you skipping.
wearing a.
It's more of a Hobbit thing.
I'm a skipping Hobbit to you. Wow,
That was a pretty big adventure. Which is bigger, going to Mordor or the Ark of the Covenant?
I don't know. They're both pretty big.
They are pretty big. You're part Indiana
I'm just
Jones.
trying to get over the fact that you married a skipping Hobbit. That in your mind, that I'm a skipping Hobbit, and like that's what you're into.
Are a nerd.
That's your thing.
Are you or are you not an enthusiast of Mr. Tolkien?
I may perhaps be.
Did we not last week go on a Hobbit trail?
We did go on a Hobbit trail.
Literally, we were on a trail called the Hobbit Trail, which I also wanted to go on. That was an adventure. So I think we're adventurers, we're swashbucklers, we're very many things. We're going to start talking about milestones.
Yeah, we're going to actually get to the part
40
where
minutes in.
we're trying to help people.
We have gone through the metaphors. Now let's get down into the brass tacks.
So the point here is that we as people set up these arbitrary milestones that don't actually mean anything, and we feel as if we have to accomplish something by a certain date or a certain age or a certain time, and that if we don't, that we have failed. And we oftentimes think that if we haven't accomplished our goal by this certain date or time or age, that we shouldn't even bother.
Why should we even bother?
Why should we bother? Was that was the me voice when I got my diabetes diagnosis?
Why should we even bother?
What's that gonna do? Nothing.
Man, you didn't even get diabetes until you were in your 40s.
I couldn't even accomplish that.
You couldn't
at
even
an early
accomplish
age.
that.
Yeah.
So I know, we have talked about this before, but we come into the world and we are tabula rasas. We are clean slates.
Whoa.
Tabula
Whoa,
rasa.
throwing out the Latin.
I am. And I think it means clean plate.
Yeah, it means eat all your food so you can have dessert.
So we are told by those around us, teachers, parents, cousins, the television, that certain things have to happen by certain times. And some of those are good things like, we can drive by the time we're 16. That is a fact. At least in California, it's a fact. In New Jersey, it's not until you're 17. But we are told that if we don't accomplish things by a certain age, then we are failures. I know that I had family members who told me in terms of my weight, if you don't get it together by age 23, like if you don't actually, physically get in shape by age 23, it's pretty much too late. Like that actually happened to me.
Yeah, and people say crazy things like that. If you're not married by the time you're 30, if you're not,
vice president by the time you're 35, or even president of the USA by the time you're 35, there are so many...
You legally can't do that, by the way.
I know. But
but people tell you that you have to be.
When you're 30 and you're like, I'm not president yet, you're like, woo, well, I don't even have to worry about it because it's not until I'm 35
I can't even become president because I'm too
become.
young. It's a lot of pressure off at that point.
But people tell us, you'll never lose weight if you do X or Y. And if you don't get married or become, successful or buy a house or whatever by a certain age, that you have failed. And we are here to dig deeper into the topic of milestones and the way we sabotage ourselves, basically negatively, trying to hit a certain weight by a certain date.
And I had done it to myself. I mean, I was past the age of 45, and I had essentially decided I was just going to eat whatever I wanted, and whatever happened, happened. And
he literally said that. He basically didn't decide. He told me.
I did. I just essentially, I had decided I was giving up on weight loss. I was just, I was going to be the weight I was, and, whatever I ate, and then, the diabetes diagnosis came along. I've told this story many times on this podcast, but, and I realized I had to do something. And you know what? I was over the age of 45, and I still managed to lose 100 pounds. And it can be done. And we know people who are saying to themselves, I'm about to turn 30, like, it is over. Like, I haven't accomplished enough. Yeah, seriously, with the
kids,
30.
right? Millennials,
yeah.
Am I right, everyone?
Am I right, everybody? I'm about to turn 40, and it's over. I didn't hit my goal by the time I was 40, or I'm not going to be able to. And therefore, why should I try? Why should I bother? And I think that the point here is that it's never too late to do this, and that, it can be done at any age.
Well, and I know for sure that, I had lost, I think I was 28 and I was up to 300 pounds, and I had my first aha moment, need to lose weight. I did Atkins for a year plus a couple of other little things, and I lost about 115 pounds. And so I entered my 30s in a, overweight still, but not as, not as bad as in my 20s. And I let my habits erode, and I got, I went down to like 185, and then I got back up to about 250, which is where I was after age 40. And I thought when I hit 40, I thought it was over. Like, I thought it was too late. There was absolutely no way I was going to ever get my habits under control. And I didn't actively say to myself, well, now it's too late. I just kind of decided that was my lot in life. And I didn't start this last time journey until I was 41. And if I had given up on the imaginary Arizona age 40 force field, like I saw it as too late. And I see people younger than us who are, bearing down on their 40th birthday. I see people who are in their 20s barreling down on their 30th birthday. And, I think that they've decided that their ability to be successful, it's too late for them. And so they kind of like go into neutral instead of driving their life, and just sort of decide like, well, if it doesn't happen by now, then it's too late. And so that self-sabotage starts even before you pass the barrier, the deadline, because you feel like there's not enough time to get it done, so why bother?
I think you've glossed over an important idea that,
like a candy-coated gloss.
A great name for a band is the Imaginary Arizona Force Field. Maybe the name of this episode should be the Imaginary Arizona Force Field.
Maybe. So, it happens at all ages and in all different ways, and it doesn't even have to be a birthday or a milestone birthday. It can be a reunion, your high school reunion, your college reunion, your shuffleboard reunion for your high school shuffleboard team.
Yeah, and it works the other way. I mean, people will oftentimes, they'll have the bat mitzvah, wedding, bathing suit season, and they go on some sort of crash diet to meet a weight loss goal in order for this one event, and then the next day they are still the same person, the same people that they were the day before, and they go right back to doing the things that caused them to gain the weight in the first place, instead of looking at the big picture. And we have these arbitrary, 40 is just an arbitrary number, 30 is an arbitrary number, 50 is an arbitrary number. Those ages are just something that we've created as a society. They don't actually mean anything. What's meaningful is that you've got an entire life in which to be the best you. And if being the best you involves creating habits that you are proud of, that you're happy to continue doing, then start doing them, and don't worry about what date it is or what age you are, and start thinking about the you that you want to be, and become that person. It doesn't matter, that you've got a wedding coming up, or that you've got a particular birthday coming. You need to do this for you, and you need to do it for the rest of your life.
Well, and I think that you bring up a great point. Again, surprisingly,
thank
an amazing point.
Once in a while, I come up with a great point.
I'm
going to
go put on a hat so I can just take it off to you.
Well, thank you.
But as I said, I didn't start this weight loss journey until after I was 41. I was 41 and a half, I think. And my 44th birthday was just a couple of weeks ago. Happy birthday, Catherine Weigel.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday to me. And this was the first birthday in I think maybe ever that I wasn't stressing about being a certain weight by a certain date. And we, because it is summer, went on a little bit of a rumspringa, including tucked into some pancakes on a couple of vacations. And I am up on the scale probably about 7 pounds higher than I feel comfortable being. And I went into my birthday up on the scale, and I was not in a panic about it. I knew that it was related to my habits, and it's living your life in a way that is meaningful to you, that brings happiness. I'm down 150 pounds or so, and the happiness doesn't come from the number, it comes from the habits. And when I'm overindulging, when I have heartburn, when I'm not walking, when I'm not drinking water, when I lose sight of my habits, that's when I start feeling bad. And there's no magical number. I know it feels like it when you don't have it, but there's no magical number where you're finally like, oh, I'm done. Like, I've arrived. Yay.
Yeah, it's never over.
Well, and we had a friend over a number of years ago who was single, and he said to me, like, kind of as an aside, he's like, well, you're married now, so you can just, like, let yourself go. Like, you've arrived. And I was like, you don't think I have hopes and dreams just because I'm married? Like, it is about a partnership and supporting one another.
I took your dreams from you when I first found you.
When you found me?
I don't know. It's from that
What am I, a sand
It's
dollar?
from that Pogue song.
Oh, wow. Oh, the New York one?
Yeah.
Let's sing it,
Fairy
shall
Tale
we?
of New York. Let's not sing it. We want people to actually listen. Yeah.
Let's just hum it.
That's better.
And then fill in the words where we remember them.
Do our fathers listen to this podcast?
I don't know. Let's not go into naming names, shall we?
Okay. Well, we just spent some time with two different people who hum constantly.
Oh, boy. It's over, people. We're not going to name who they are, that Donald just did. So it is my habits that make me feel good. It is, the number on the scale means a little bit less, and I know that once I get back to my habits, that that's where my success will come from. And I think that deciding that a birthday, an anniversary, a vacation, a retirement, whatever, is when you will start living your best life, or, it's the before time. When I get to this point, I will, then after that point, I will get into good habits. When I graduate, then I'll get into good habits. When my kids are out of school, then I'll manage my habits. When the house closes, I'll get into, I'll start taking care of myself. When work settles down, life is never going to settle down.
Yeah, we imagine that there's this perfect time when suddenly things will come together for us, and we will suddenly become the person that we want to be. And I experienced this a lot in college. When I went to college and, obviously had some friends. Believe it or not, I had friends in college.
Spoiler
Those
alert.
of you who thought I didn't, I actually did have, like, 2 friends. And they would constantly, like, scarf off class, not go to class, not do the work, wait to the last second to get things done. And they, whenever I would say something to them, because I'm a nerd, goody two-shoes, it was always, well, when I get out into the real world, I'm going to get it together. I'm going to, I'll be the person that I want to be when I get out into the real world and it actually matters. And there are a couple of people in particular that it didn't happen for. Like, they got out into the real world and ended up not being able to handle it because they hadn't established the good habits of doing the work back in college, and they didn't suddenly become different people when they got out into the work world. And it's the same thing with weight loss. There isn't some, like, well, after my kids move out, after I buy a house, after, I get a job, then I can start on my good habits. You have to start today, and you have to start now.
Well, and it's too, I have suffered from depression for a very long time, and I'm managing it, and it's not like my weight loss, my life has improved greatly with weight loss just because I'm being more active, but I still have issues, I still have problems, I still have family issues and work issues that I'm battling through. And self-care is something that I don't think you can wait on. You matter and your habits matter, and it's not a special day or a special event that is going to make your life. And putting that deadline on it is just, it can be really damaging. And I think it's a loophole because it's almost like, and I've done it before where it's like, okay, we have a wedding that we're in October. So I want to lose 20 pounds by October. So that means I need to lose, X number of pounds a week. And you think about the number, not about like, what habits am I putting in place? Like, I want to live, I want to be able to dance at the wedding. What will, and right now I'm too out of shape to. Okay, well, maybe I should start, dancing every day to a Fitness Marshall video to get my cardio up. Like, it's about creating habits that get you to the kind of person that you want to be, not just going, okay, well, I need to figure out how many pounds I need to lose, and that means I need to, undereat by this much. And then when you fail that, when life gets in the way and, say you only have 2 weeks before the wedding and you haven't lost any weight, then you give up because you're like, well, why should I bother? Because it's too late now. It's not about the number. It's about the habits. And we lose sight of that and we give up and we feel defeated. And I think that that's a loophole, the before or after loophole of I'll do it before or I'll do it after. I'll do it after the new year. I'll do it after the kids get out of school. I'll do it after, Shamrock Shake week. Like, and it's a fallacy, and it's a loophole that we use to get out of taking responsibility for our lives.
Yeah, and it works on the other side of that number too. It's like, people will oftentimes set a New Year's resolution. It'll be December, and it'll be like, oh, well, I'm going to get on it on New Year's Day. And then New Year's Day comes, and they indulge in something, or they make a resolution to quit smoking, and suddenly they wake up and smoke a pack of cigarettes, or I don't know, I'm making stuff up,
or vape
they vape, whatever. They break whatever habit on the first day, and they're like, well, I already broke it, so I guess I may as well
wait
just
until 2019,
wait until the next year. Well, and there's never any reason to just give up. You're setting this barrier arbitrarily for yourself anyway. So that notion of, well, I've blown it already, might as well really blow it, like it doesn't help you. You end up worse off than you were before.
Well, and I definitely would do that where the Monday syndrome of like, okay, well, it's Wednesday and I'm celebrating Taco Tuesday all week. And so, Monday, like, it'll be a new me. Like, it's just cold turkey. It's me all the way. And like you said, and then you halfway into Monday, you realize that you've already had donuts for breakfast and you'll just start next Monday. And it just becomes this, like, success is a mirage on the horizon. And you keep thinking, like, okay, well, this perfect time will come, this perfect wave will come where I'll suddenly be this new person. Or, or you do take a vacation and you're like, okay, you know what, I'm taking a week off of work. I'm going to condomari my entire house. I'm going to figure out what my life's purpose is. I'm going to start that side hustle. I'm going to write my resume. I'm going to, like, repair all the relationships in my life. Like,
and you end up watching Price is Right on the couch all week instead.
You do. Oh my gosh, that is a time suck. But, like, it's that, when this happens, then finally I'll be the person that I want to be. I'll be this new version of myself. And I'm still me. I still want to eat all the food, but I now am let habits dictate my life instead of impulses. Not that I don't still give into impulses, but I don't have this like deadline around it of this perfect time where I'm going to be my perfect self. Like I said, I'm up on the scale right now, and not a lot, but I don't have a panic about it. Like, well, it's too late. I'll just start whatever. It's like, no, okay, well, what are my habits? What get me, what steps do I take? I do great when I drink water. I do great when I track my calories. I do great when I have a salad. Like, it's just habits. It's not some magical, motivation that I feel. It's just math.
And here's the good news about all
There's
of
good
this.
news?
There's good news that it kind of works the other way. We set these barriers for ourselves. I'm going to start Monday. And starting Monday usually means in our heads we have to be perfect starting Monday. We have to go from 0 to 100 or 0 to whatever scale we're on immediately. And you know what? You can gently add these things into your life because you have the rest of your life to do this. This is the way I did this. This is the way I lost my 100 pounds was I started gently. I added one good habit at a time. And, when I found that a habit was working, I increased it. And when I found that something wasn't working, I changed it. But I didn't go immediately from eating whatever I wanted and doing no exercise to working out 7 days a week and eating 1,200 calories a day. I gently increased my habits, the habits that I wanted to. I gently increased my walking until I got up to a lot of steps, and I reduced my calories. And I never went to a crazy reduction in calories. I ended up, settling in at around 2,000 calories a day, which isn't horrible. It's not starvation by any means. And I did that in baby steps. So you don't have to go from, nothing to all in either.
Well, and I think, too, that there's sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy of those milestones that we're looking for, where we, if we fall short of them or realize that we can't hit that goal by the date, that we go back on bad habits 100%. And sort of like you said about adding the one good habit, it's not as much about giving up on what you love. People feel like oh, like this is such a burden. This is so awful. Like I'm denying myself. I'm not doing what I want to do. And I'd love to think about it less as what you're denying yourself and switching it around to being, what can you add to your life that is actually a positive thing? Like, we were away for a couple of weeks on 2 different vacations, and because of my pancake habit, the scale just danced on up to way beyond my scream weight, my kind of like emergency weight. Things are getting tight. And the second week that we were away, we got in our steps every morning. We went on walks every single morning, and I was able to maintain my weight the second week that we were away. And it was about adding a lovely walk to my day. It wasn't about, taping my mouth shut or telling people to knock pancakes out of my hands if I was trying to eat them. It was about adding a nice walk every day, adding water into my life. It wasn't the perfect week. It did not go as planned in many, many ways, but it was about adding. So if you're at a point where you don't want, you see a milestone coming, think more about just what can you add to your life that will be beneficial. A 5-minute walk after work, a 10-minute walk on your lunch break. Add some broccoli to pump up the volume.
Up the volume. Yeah, you don't have to deprive yourself necessarily, at least not all at once. And you certainly can work treats into your life, but you have to put in some work, and adding things to your life, at least psychologically, feels a lot better than telling yourself you're taking things away.
Well, and two, punishing yourself is a waste of time. Like, punishing yourself for the week that you just had takes up mental space and energy from just moving forward and creating a better life for yourself, which in the end is what the purpose is. We had someone in a group who was upset about not being a certain weight for their son's wedding. And wouldn't it be such a gift to the son to see a mother whose eyes are just welling with pride and happiness about the day and the experience than being self-conscious because, your Spanx aren't working the way you hope they would, which I have done time and time again. Instead of living in the moment and living my best life in a moment, I'm worried about what I didn't do and chastising myself for it. And, I would just ask you as a listener to it is okay to have goals. It is okay to want to strive for something for yourself. But the idea of giving up because it's too late for you, if I had given up because it was too late for me, I saw myself on a trajectory at 250 pounds. The way I was going to get up to 300 pounds, like easy peasy within months. And I just decided to stop the cycle and to start living an actual life that I wanted for myself.
And I'm about to turn 49, and I am much happier. I'm a much happier person than I was at 45. And I know there may be people listening who are in their 50s or 60s who, are thinking, oh, well, it must be nice to get it together in your 40s. Sorry to steal your catchphrase, dear.
Must be nice remix.
But I really believe that you can do this at any age, and if I can do it at 45, anybody can. I mean, there was nobody less motivated than me to do this, and there was.
If you were less motivated, please.
If you would like to contend the less motivated battle with me,
because it is a battle,
then please let us know. But seriously, It's not too late, and you can do this. You just start now.
Yeah, and, I'm going to finish this off with a quote. It's definitely an accurate quote.
Definitely.
So, just remember, today is the present, and that's why they call it a gift.
Yes.
That's definitely how it went. But
that's definitely how it went.
It really is. Be a version of yourself that you are proud of. I spent so many years self-sabotaging, speaking poorly to myself, giving myself these artificial Arizona force fields, barriers to go through, and it's all in your brain. Your brain is the barrier.
All in your brain.
Brain barrier. So if you wouldn't mind, let us know what you think. Do you put up barriers for yourself? Imaginary or otherwise?
Yeah, contact us. You can find us on Facebook.
And Instagram.
And Twitter. And the tweeter. And on weonlylookthin.com. And you can even email us at weonlylookthin@gmail.com.
You can. And let us know how you're doing. Let us know where you need support and what stories you're ready to let go of.
Yeah, and let us know what barriers that you've put up in your life that you've managed to break down, or the barriers that you'd like to break down.
Exactly. And if you are in a car chase with a police officer that's actually just a big donut and you're racing down the highway and there's one of those tack strip things where they're going to blow your wheels, that is an actual barrier. But just remember, while you're hurtling toward your future, just remember that Donald and I are an inspiration.
The information that you hear on this podcast is for informational purposes only. The hosts are not medical professionals. You should always consult with your doctor, nurse, or other certified health professional before beginning any diet or fitness program.